If you want to go down a bizarre and frankly gruesome rabbit hole, buckle up. This begins with a news story I saw decades ago about a tug of war event, one that went very, very wrong. So wrong that two men had their arms ripped off. Now, I was actually in college studying journalism when I saw this news story, and I dismissed it as fake because it has all the hallmarks of a fake story. See, lots of these outrageous fake news stories are set on the other side of the world, in this case in Taipei. And they're always very over the top and almost cartoonish in how horrific they are. But this is true. And the details are so much crazier than what that headline even implies. You can go look it up on Snopes, but they have photos of the incident, so be prepared. I mean, they have severed limbs on the ground. It happened in 1997. They had a festival where they did a huge tug of war, where there's a rope and two teams are pulling against each other. Only 1,600 people participated, presumably about 800 on each side. Now, when you're picturing how such a thing could have happened, you're probably imagining that they looped the rope around their arms or their wrists somehow, and then the force of the pulling pulled their arms off. That is not what happened. The truth is actually weirder. This is what happened. Snapback. When a ship is tied up to the dock, you do not stand behind where the rope is attached. That is called the snapback zone, because if that rope breaks, it will come whipping back at you hard enough to take your life, and lots of people do lose their lives or limbs this way. So in this tug of war contest, they were using rope like this, a 2-inch wide nylon rope. It is estimated that the tug of war put about 150,000 pounds of force on the rope, 3 times more than what it could withstand. Within seconds, the rope snapped, and the snapback caused it to whip back and sever two men's left arms. As in, their arms were lying on the ground. You can go look at it if you want. They were able to reattach them. But the rabbit hole you can go down is all of the history of incredibly gruesome tug of war events gone wrong, because that was not an isolated incident. Children have had their fingers severed this way. There is an entire article about the history of tug of war fatalities. And it's such a perfect example of something that looks totally innocuous and fun. And you don't realize how much power is stored up in something until the moment it's finally released.